what's going on, guys? It's Anime1 back here with a new video, and I'm here with the second part of What If Naruto was neglected and trained by Shanks. So again, if you guys want the next part to this video, get this video to 30 likes and I will upload the next part, since you guys did cross the like goal in the previous part of the video where you did reach 50 likes, and that's why I'm uploading this one. So yeah, get this one to 30 likes and I will get the next part out as soon as possible. So yeah, without any delay, let's begin the video. The village hidden in the leaves. Minato sat in his office, fighting every Kage's worst enemy, aka paperwork. Deciding to take a short break, he got out of his seat to turn around and look at the village of Konoha. He smiled as he watched everyone going about their day as usual. The smile disappeared when his eyes landed on a family of the tree of having a picnic. Just the mother, father, and son sitting with a basket. The sight cut deep into Minato's heart. He thought back to when his family life fell apart. Flashback. 1 month after Naruto had left, Minato, Kushina, Mito, Menma had come into the living room of the house after finishing their training. You two have made great progress today, so how about I take the whole family to Ichiraku Ramen? To this, then Minato, almost having to cover his ears when his children responded of ramen. He smiled as then he thought about the one person missing, Naruto. They hadn't spent much time with him lately, so he decided that in the moment they had the lunch with the family, it would be good to start getting to know and be familiar with the son more and more. Okay, well, everyone wait here. I'll go get Naruto, Minato said, shocking Kushina because he too had forgotten about him easily. Meanwhile, Menma and Mito looked at each other and started laughing. Very funny, Dad. That's failure is gone, said Menma, laughing, while his sister did the same. Minato frowned, as did Kushina. What do you mean he's gone? He's at a friend's house, Kushina said, which only served to make the two laugh harder. Mito finally calmed down enough to answer her mother. Friends? Who wants to be friends with that loser? He's been gone. Hopefully, he's gone for good, she said, smiling. Minato and Kushina started to look seared a look of horror. Minato flashed out of the house and into his office when he called for a search for his son, done by his best Anbu. After 3 months, he was forced to call off all the searches. And the flashback. Minato realized how bad he had neglected Naruto, but he couldn't do much as he entrusted the rest to his sensei, Jiraiya, who held the regret in his heart as well. When word make it around the village, the overall feeling was regret and the sadness because they never took the time to once even go to their Hokage's firstborn. Kushina took it the hardest. Ever since he left, she lost her happy, joyful demeanor. She continued to train her children, but they were forbidden from bad-mouthing Naruto. She slept in Naruto's room every single day, crying herself to sleep. During the training of the two remaining children, Minato and Kushina began to see exactly who their children were. They were arrogant, as everywhere they went, they flashed their name and demanded what they wanted. They were selfish, as they even had tried to help others in need. After discovering this, Minato and Kushina realized that a horrible mistake it had been to the clan, make them the clan here away from their son. With that, the promise that when Naruto returned, they would treat him the way that he was supposed to be treated, respect and love that every children deserve from their parent. His thoughts were interrupted by the sound of knocking. Getting back in his seat, he announced whoever wished to enter them may do it now. Lord Hokage, this boy claims to see you and claims that he wants to join our village and wishes to speak with you, said the Chunin, explained and earning a glare from Naruto, for whose the boy comment. Minato quickly nodded. Thank you. You may go now. Tell my secretary that We may not be disturbed, he ordered when taking his eyes off his son. When the Chunin left, Minato immediately went to Naruto to hug him, but was stopped when Naruto held up a hand, halting. I'm afraid that I must ask that we keep this meeting professional and brief, Lord Hokage. Naruto said icily cold, causing Minato to flinch at his heart to break by little by little. He nodded sadly and motioned Naruto to take a seat. As Minato looked over his son, he realized that how tall he was and how mature he looked. Naruto was the spitting image of his father. Naruto was wearing a black sleeveless shirt and with a blue pants, which with black fingerless gloves that and black boots. Both seated, Minato asked the question that had been on his mind for over a past year and a half. Naruto, where have you been, son? He asked. Naruto stiffened before responding. I have been training in the forest of the Fire Country, and believe that I'm ready to take on the Genin exams with this year's class. While I do not know any jutsu except for the Shadow Clone Jutsu, Transformation, and the Substitution Jutsu, my other skills should put me well overqualified to take and pass the test. He said. Naruto had decided that while he wouldn't hide his skills, he wouldn't brag or explain them unless he was prompted to do so. Minato furrowed his brow when he heard Naruto's explanation. Are you sure, son? The class will be graduating this year is mainly composed of clan heroes, so it might be difficult to pass, and there is also the fact that you have received no formal training. Minato stopped when Naruto received a cold glare from him. While I appreciate your concern, Lord Hokage, assure that I will pass, and regardless of my position, he spat. Minato sighed. Maybe he should just let us take son. He should just let his son take the test. After all, the worst that could happen would that he would fail making his decision. He nodded and told him that he could see that Naruto was allowed to take the Genin exams and the academy would actually begin in a few minutes. Minato wrote a piece of paper and handed it down to Naruto, telling him that it would get him in for the exam. He also suggested that the two walk back together, but Naruto quickly denied before getting up and making his way to the academy. Minato sighed sadly before a quick smile appeared on his face. His son was back, and no matter how long it took, he would get him back. Konoha, the Ninja Academy. Eureka Omino was giving a speech to his students about before he started the Genin exam when a red-haired boy walked in, handing him a note from the Lord Hokage himself. He was too busy reading the note to look at who had given it to him. After reading the note, Eureka's eyes widened before he looked at the boy who had taken the seat in the back corner of the room away from everyone else. Okay, class, we have someone who will be taking the exam with us today. Everyone, welcome Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, he said before a kunai flew near her and cut his cheek. Just Naruto will do, Naruto said with no emotion. After this display, everyone was watching him, the two children in particular. Menma and Mito Uzumaki Namikaze were fuming at the sight of their worthless nobody brother because he was back. Eureka Sensei, why does he have to get special treatment? Whined a boy named Kiba, who obviously thought it was not fair that he had to sit through Eureka's boiling red lectures for years, but this kid King comes and gets the Genin test without doing such torture. Naruto has a note from the Hokage himself, allowing it. So be quiet, Kiba. Now that the exam has 3 parts, which will be tested through taijutsu matches, ninjutsu matches, and the paper test you are to receiving now. Eureka explained while his assistant Mizuki finished handing down all the last of the exams. Now that everyone has their test, begin, shouted Eureka. It took Naruto 10 minutes to complete the pitiful excuse of an exam, and he was forced to wait for another 15 minutes. while everyone else finished before they had led outside. The academy training ground had a wooden board that ranked the students in who was at best at taijutsu. Naruto scanned the board and was surprised to see that his idiot siblings held the top spots. Naruto was brought out of his thoughts when Irika asked for volunteers to begin the taijutsu portion. Menma quickly volunteered, but not before issuing a challenge. I want to fight Naruto. Maybe then he'll realize how pathetic he really is. All the students smirked, while the rest of the students quickly nodded. Naruto, do you accept this challenge from your competitor? Erika said as gaining a start nod in response. As Naruto and Menma entered the ring, Naruto knew that this would happen. Today he would humiliate his brother in front of all of his classmates. Today would be the day that he would show Menma of how much of a child he truly was in this adult world. When Irika gave them a signal, Menma quickly started attacking Naruto, thinking that it would be over quickly, but his confidence quickly died after his pathetic brother dodged his few strikes. Then the next and the next and the next. Finally, Naruto had enough. He dodged one last punch by simply moving to the side and quickly planted his fist in Menma's stomach, raising him off the ground with Menma still on his arm. Naruto spoke. Years of training from the two famous Sannin, the last of the Uzumaki from the Whirlpool, and perhaps the most powerful Hokage in Konoha's history. And this is what you have to offer? I must say, I am truly disappointed, especially since you are supposed to be the best in your class at Taijutsu. Well, it's my turn now, but don't worry, I'll make it quick, said Naruto coldly before throwing him 10 feet off the ground. When Menma started falling and reached down 3 feet from the underground, Naruto swung his leg right into the side of his head and sending him flying to the nearby tree. Everyone was at loss of words. The son of the Hokage had been destroyed by the clan reject. Yuka quickly declared that Naruto was the winner and told Mizuki to take Menma to the hospital. As the matches went on, Yuka couldn't help but think about Naruto. He had been playing with Menma the whole time, and Eureka could see that Naruto hadn't even tried. 3 moves and Menma was out, but he knew that the kick that Naruto used was not even half of his strength, and he could have used. The type of power in someone so young scared Eureka, but not as much as the dead look in Naruto's eyes throughout the match. Eventually, the taijutsu matches were over and all the students were led back into their classroom. No one spoke. The way that Naruto had finished Menma was like he was nothing more than a little unnerving, nothing more than a little fly. It was a little unnerving and made everyone look and keep the distance from him. As all of them sat down and waited for their names to be called out for the next demonstration, no one spoke. Naruto's name was the first one to be called. Naruto calmly rose and from his seat to follow Iruka into the next room. Okay, Naruto, I needed to make 3 clones. Use the substitution and use the transformation jutsu, Iruka said, somewhat nervously. Naruto rolled his eyes and began making 3 shadow clones and substituting himself with the nearby chair and transforming into Iruka. He took his headband, ignoring the congratulations from Iruka Morino. Naruto walked out of the academy with his headband tied around his arm. As he appeared outside, he noticed that all the families were watching their kid to come out their headbands. There was Shikaku Nara in Inoichi Yakanama. Yakanama? I'm stupid. Sorry for that. Yamanaka, Choji Akimichi and their wives, and Inuzuka, Mikoto Uchiha, and Itachi Uchiha, along with other few civilian parents waiting for their children. The looks of surprise amused Naruto and almost shocked him because he didn't think that anyone knew who he was. He continued to walking as adults made way for him to leave. Naruto started making his way towards the Hokage Tower. It was time that he live on his own, and tried to do that he would need to have his clear former father make a clear for the landlord that he had contacted with. Thinking about it, Naruto knew that Minato and Kushina may feel a bit of remorse, but it was too late. Though it had only been about 4 years since he was living here, he so much had changed. He wasn't a kid anymore. Shanks had made sure that he knew that before he attained his title. His title was something that had been on his mind lately. He knew that he was one of the most skilled swordsmen in the elemental nations already. All he needed was now to gain experience and let his name grow. That was the only reason he was in Konoha. Brought out of his thoughts by the realization that he made it to the tower, he entered and proceeded to walk up the stairs to the Hokage's office. As he neared the door, he realized that the secretary was not there, and he started to hear yelling. Coming up to the office door, he was greeted with the sight of Kushina Uzumaki Namikaze yelling at her husband. "I want my son on my team, Minato. I haven't seen him over a year. I missed him so much. I'll be damned if I miss any more of his life and put him on my team." Kushina yelled. "I must disagree, Mrs. Namikaze," said Naruto, alerting the two of his presence. As he walked into the office, Kushina's eyes widened immediately. Tears came upon her eyes, seeing the boy that she had neglected for so long. Shaking out of her thoughts, and she started to run towards her son, but was held back by Minato, who simply shook his head, confusing the greatly loved mother. But until she realized that how Naruto addressed her, Mrs. Namikaze. When Kushina stopped struggling, Minato quickly smiled. "Naruto, how was the exam?" he asked, making his own way to his chair and sit down as Naruto did the same. "Disappointing, Lord Hokage, most notably in the form of Menma. But I'm sure that Tsunade will make sure he's perfectly well," Naruto said coldly. Both Minato and Kushina frowned. They both, along with the help of Jiraiya and Tsunade, had trained Menma and Mito to be formidable opponents for the most Chunins. Yet Naruto spoke as if Menma was simply a waste of time. Their concerns were interrupted when Naruto began to speak again. As for your suggestion, Mrs. Namikaze, since I will be labeled as the dead last of the class for a lack of attendance, I must be placed on the team with the Rookie of the Year and the Kunoichi of the Year. And though Minma and Mito are the top of their boards in top of combat, I doubt that their grades are the best. Isn't that right, Lord Hokage? Naruto said with a smirk. Minato sighed, knowing that his son was absolutely correct. "That's correct. I don't have the final results of everyone yet, but it looks like the Rookie of the Year will be Sasuke Uchiha, and the Kunoichi of the Year will be, well, uh, his sister, named Samantha Uchiha." Minato said tiredly. He knew he and Kushina had stressed to the children that book smarts are important, but they never took it to it, unfortunately. "Well, Naruto, what can I do for you right now?" he asked, trying to figure out why his son was here. "Lord Hokage, I was wondering if you could tell me any of the apartments for sale," he said, causing Minato and Kushina's eyes to widen. "Why, what are you talking about, Naruto? You can live at the compound with us." "You can't leave. You're so young to live on your own," Kushina yelled. Naruto simply rolled his eyes and pointed towards his armband. "This means that I am considered as an adult, and it also highly irregular for a non-clan member to live in the clan compound," he said, confusing Minato and Kushina. What do you mean? You're still part of our clan without or with that armband," said Kushina. Naruto only shook his head. No, in accordance to the Konoha law, once the title of the heir is removed from their said heir, they no longer hereby and they are no longer part of the clan and are removed from the clan. Naruto replied without any emotion. At this point, Kushina started crying as Minato felt ashamed. Are you sure about this, Naruto? Naruto asked. Yes, very sure, Lord Hokage. He replied coolly as after staring at his son for a few moments. Minato sighed and I started writing down the address of an apartment in Konoha's red light district and handed it down to Naruto, who took it and left with a simple bow. As Kushina continued to cry about the loss of her baby boy, he just prayed that Naruto would somehow accept them back in his life. Time skip. A few hours after. Naruto was currently walking through the red light district of Konoha after just making an agreement to live in a nearby apartment with the landlord. As Naruto continued to explore the area, he sensed followers. Smiling to himself, he started walking out of the way of the building and business until he finally came to the forest. After a few minutes of walking through the forest, he stopped and, without turning around, he spoke. You should know, following me isn't the smartest decision. He said, turning towards the area of the intruder. He was surprised when the follower revealed himself to be Itachi Uchiha. And why is that? Itachi asked with his arms crossed. Naruto chuckled. You are the prodigy of the Uchiha clan, Itachi Uchiha. Am I correct? He said, getting no answer. What would you do to give me the honor of sparring with me, and so that I can see for myself how much of a prodigy you really are? He asked seriously. Itachi's eyes narrowed. It would be too dangerous for you to fight me, he said, trying to figure out the boy. Naruto smiled. Oh, trust me, Itachi. It won't be dangerous for me. He looked up. Beautiful night, isn't it? He asked. As a full moon was there. I need to understand where I stand in this village, Itachi. So I must insist, Naruto said before reaching out his hand. To Itachi's surprise, Naruto unsheathed his sword. The sword was... Is that Griffin? Naruto Itachi asked. Naruto looked at Itachi with a surprised look. You know of it? He asked as Itachi nodded. Everyone knows of the 9 legendary swords. Orochimaru of the Sannin has one of them. The grass cutter, the Kusanagi also known as. Griffin is said to be one of the stronger ones. And, well, you have it. Don't tell me you. Itachi narrowed his eyes, having a rough idea of who had trained Naruto. If that man really trained you, I guess it would be fun to have a sparring session with you, said Itachi as his Sharingan activated. Naruto smirked as his sword was now, instead of being normal katana, it was now a complete pitch black in color. It's showing that it was coated in haki, as a little bit of black and red lightning surrounded the sword. I would suggest you go all out, said Naruto before vanishing. Itachi looked around before hearing a voice behind him. Or you might just die, said a voice, causing Itachi to quickly turn around and bring up his tanto, just in time to block a downward strike from Naruto's massive sword. The single strike caused Itachi's arm to go numb from the force behind the blow. Just as fast as the blow came, it disappeared, and before Itachi could react, Naruto was behind him and used the sword's blunt side to hit Itachi's back, sending him flying about 6 feet away before he hit the ground. Itachi quickly jumped up and barely dodged a swipe from Naruto's sword. Gaining a proper footing, Itachi looked for an opening to attack, but was finding none as Naruto started to advance on his attacks onto Itachi, forcing him onto the defense. He was taking every bit of Itachi's skill to block every single slash from Naruto. Eventually, Naruto showed his attacks, and Itachi took full advantage by attacking by an opening that was left by Naruto by his left side, for Naruto to quickly vanish and appear behind him. Once again, Naruto hit Itachi in the back with the blunt side of the sword and knocking the Uchiha face down onto the ground. As Itachi lay there, Naruto jumped a few feet back and looked at him. I must say, you are the second prodigy that I've faced today, and for the second time, I'm disappointed. Though I suppose Kenjutsu isn't your expertise, I guess, said Naruto as he taunted Itachi with the sword held on his shoulder. Naruto sheathed his blade. It's obvious that you won't go all out, and neither am I. I'm not using more of my advanced hockey, so let's just leave it here, said Naruto, as Itachi stood up and looked at Naruto, who was currently walking away. Hockey, you say? But you're trained by Shanks, said Itachi as Naruto turned side glanced at Itachi and just looking at him a little. Who knows, said Naruto as he vanished in a red flash. Itachi just smirked. Maybe I'll have an interesting Genin team, thought Itachi in his mind. The boy has a bright future ahead of him. Maybe he'll be a good rival for Sasuke and Samantha as well. Itachi quickly set his thoughts in his mind as he quickly made his way towards the Hokage's office. The Jonin senseis were picking their teams tonight at the tower, and he knew exactly who he wanted for his team. After a quick spar, which he would leave him undoubtedly sore for many days, his mother is the one who had talked Itachi into becoming a Jonin sensei, after saying that it would be best for Sasuke and Samantha to learn from Itachi, that she wanted him to be out of the Anbu. He was hesitant to the idea, but now after fighting Naruto, he knew that this would be an exciting experience. So, with that in mind, he reached towards the Hokage Tower, ready to fight the mysterious boy and train under him. Naruto sat with his eyes closed. Currently, he was going over his fight with Itachi the night before. Neither that him or Itachi were going all out, but he doubted that he could take Itachi on anyway, considering the fact that Itachi didn't use any kind of jutsu. Naruto smiled. One thing that he did upset Naruto though was the fact that Itachi tried to use a sword to beat him. Now Itachi couldn't possibly know how about his powers with the blade, but it did feel somewhat insulted, and well, that was sort of bad. He was drawn from his thoughts by the sound of all the formal academy students entering the classroom, excited about the team placement and not shutting up about how awesome it would be when they finally got to show off their moves or to their strong enemies. It annoyed Naruto immensely that these children had a naive mindset about being in the ninja life. Once again, Naruto thanked God that he had been taught by Shanks, otherwise he might have ended like these idiots spouting up nonsense about their strength and how great it would be. Once again, Naruto was drawn from his thoughts as he felt the eyes of someone staring at him. Lazily looking around, he found the culprit to be two people in specific: Sasuke Uchiha and Samantha Uchiha, little brother and little sister of Itachi Uchiha. Specifically, they both were twins. Sasuke's POV. Sasuke stared at Naruto and was brought back to what had happened last night when his brother had arrived home. Flashback. Sasuke was in the backyard practicing his fireball jutsu when he sensed someone watching him. Turning around, he met with his form of his older brother, Itachi. He smiled as seeing his older brother, but Itachi continued to stare looking at in thoughts. Hey Itachi, you okay? He asked. Itachi shook his head and walked up to Sasuke before looking at him. After a few minutes of staring, Itachi spoke. Sasuke, there's something I need to tell you in regards to the boy named Naruto. You have seen him in Taijutsu match against Menma Namikaze, but that is it. Am I correct? Itachi said. as Sasuke simply nodded at Itachi's side. Once again, Itachi gained a thoughtful look on his face. Naruto is strong. Stronger than you. Stronger than your class. Stronger than the previous class. And he's a lesson in making, so I want you to examine him. Learn from him and emulate him. It might only make you stronger in the long run, so I believe that soon. The boy may be stronger than all of us, and I believe that he might even be stronger than me currently. Itachi finished before walking back inside and leaving Sasuke to think about his words. Itachi later met with his little sister and said the same thing to her. Flashback ends. Sasuke and Samantha just looked at the boy that their brother had told them about, until Naruto's stare causing them to turn away. Not after long, Iruka entered and announced the teams. Iruka gave a short speech congratulating the new Genin before announcing the teams. Team 7 will be Menma Namikaze Uzumaki, Ninma Uzumaki Namikaze, Mita Uzumaki Namikaze, and Sakura Haruno, and they're under Kushina Uzumaki and Kakashi Hatake. Team 8 will be Hinata Hyuga, Kiba Inuzuka, and Shino Aburame, under Kurona Yui, and Team 9 is still in circulation. So Team 10 it will be Ino Yamanaka, Shikamaru Nara, and Choji Akimichi under Sarutobi Asuma. And finally, Team 11 will be Sasuke Uchiha, Samantha Uchiha, and Naruto under Itachi Uchiha. Now everyone wait here until your senseis, and once again, I'm very proud of you all, he finished. After Iruka left, Naruto looked around the classroom. Other teammates, but he couldn't find her mostly because he didn't know the majority of the class before he could think on it more. A dark figure entered the classroom. Itachi Uchiha had arrived. Team 11, meet me at training ground 11, he said before sauntering away in a flock of crows. Naruto watched as Sasuke rose and until Sasuke and his sister rose. So he simply followed them. Sasuke stopped in front of him. I know where training ground 11 is, so you two can follow me, he said, absorbing Naruto and as his sister nodded. Naruto soon looked at this girl and nodded. Lead the way and we'll follow, he said as three of them took off. So this is where I'm gonna be leaving this part off, you guys. Again, if you guys do want the next part to this video, simply like the video, I guess, since I'm gonna be picking up pace from the next part if it gets enough likes. And yeah, pretty much I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, peace out, guys.